If you want to understand why those blackheads keep coming back no matter what you put on your face, do not look at the pharmacy strip aisle. Do not look at the extraction facial that costs more than a week of groceries. Look instead at what your grandmother kept in her kitchen, because what is sitting there can clear blackheads from the inside out, and it works faster than anything they have ever sold you from a bottle. Hello, my children. Come sit with me. Now, hear me before we go any further. Blackheads that come back month after month are not a cosmetic inconvenience. They are your body sending a message, and if nobody helps you read that message, it will keep sending it regardless of how many times you strip the surface. Your doctor has 15 minutes with you and a prescription pad. There is no room in that visit for what the old ways understood about skin, and what they understood has been sitting right here in the kitchen waiting for you to come back to it. My name is Mama Aisha Diallo. For over 40 years, I have served my people as a master herbalist, drawing on knowledge my grandmother carried from the Fouta Djallon highlands of Guinea, and deepened through my study with Caribbean bush doctors and gullah root workers right here in the American South. I am here because this kitchen has always been a pharmacy, and you deserve to know how to use it. My grandmother used to say that everything you see on the outside of the body is a conversation the inside is having with you. She meant the skin, she meant the belly. In her understanding, the gut is the root system of everything, the place that governs inflammation, hormone balance, immunity, and the health of the skin sitting on top of all of it. The science is catching up to that teaching now. The grandmother knew it long before any laboratory did. In the generations of women in our community who practiced this way of caring for skin, chronic returning blackheads were rare. The women who came to my teachers in the islands and the low country did not spend their years fighting their own faces. They worked with the body, and the body answered. Researchers now studying the connection between gut health and skin conditions are finding what those generations already knew. The outside follows the inside. I am going to walk you through everything today, and I want you to stay with me from beginning to end. One part of what I share will surprise 9 out of 10 of you, and it is the piece most people leave out entirely. That is exactly why the blackheads keep coming back. The order here matters, so stay close. Before we go any further, leave me a comment with your age and tell me how long returning blackheads have been a problem for you. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers shape what I bring to you next. Do not hold back. Here is what we are covering today. First, I will show you what is actually driving those blackheads, the real source that strips and creams have never touched. Then, I will share the specific preparation the old herbalists in my grandmother's community kept always in the kitchen, and what it does to the pore environment. After that, we go step by step through the full protocol with timing and temperature. We will talk about the morning habit that tells your body to stop overproducing the oil that fills those pores. And then we arrive at the masterpiece, the practice that changes the internal terrain so the blackheads stop finding a reason to return. If you found this channel and have not yet subscribed, take 2 seconds now. It helps me reach more of our folks who are looking for this kind of knowledge, and it costs you nothing at all. A blackhead forms when a pore becomes packed with a mixture of sebum, the skin's natural oil, and dead skin cells. When that mixture meets air, it darkens. Every strip you have ever used was removing what had already formed. What it never asked was why the pore filled again. The sebaceous glands that produce sebum take their direction from hormonal signals, from the level of inflammation moving through the blood, and from how efficiently the gut is processing and clearing waste from the body. When inflammation runs quietly elevated, the skin produces more oil as a protective response. When the gut is not clearing well, certain compounds cycle back through the bloodstream and surface through the skin. A topical approach alone cannot hold against those pressures. Clean the pore today, and the body will refill it by next week. The preparation at the center of what I am sharing is raw honey, and I mean truly raw and unfiltered, the kind that still carries its pollen and its live enzymes. My grandmother kept a clay jar of it always, used it on wounds, on the skin, and on the belly. Raw honey contains an enzyme called glucose oxidase, When this enzyme meets moisture on the skin, it releases natural hydrogen peroxide slowly and steadily. That release is enough to gently loosen the bond between dead skin cells and the pore lining without stripping the skin's acid mantle the way most cleansers do. Think of it as changing the quality of what moves through the pipe rather than snaking the blockage out one more time. Here is the aging reality that makes this especially important. After 60, the skin's natural ability to shed dead cells slows by roughly 40%. Cells linger longer, oil sits with them longer, and pores stay congested longer. The enzymatic action in raw honey supports cell turnover the aging skin is beginning to struggle with. Researchers studying honey's bioactive compounds have since confirmed what our grandmothers practiced across generations, arriving at what tradition already knew. Now I want to share the piece 9 out of 10 people overlook entirely, and this is where most approaches fall short. The community of beneficial bacteria in the gut begins to lose diversity after 50, but probiotics alone will not repair that terrain. They need two partners: prebiotic fiber, which feeds the bacteria and allows them to thrive, and postbiotics, the actual compounds those bacteria produce once they are properly nourished. Think of a garden. The seeds are the probiotic. The soil is the prebiotic. The fruit the garden yields is the postbiotic, and that is where the body's repair work happens. Without all three supporting each other, the garden does not fully produce. The skin, which is downstream of all of it, reflects that. The first supporting habit is a cup of warm green tea before your first meal of the day. Green tea carries compounds called catechins that help reduce systemic inflammation, and it is that low-grade inflammation driving the sebaceous glands to overproduce. The old root workers had their own morning bitter tea taken before anything else entered the body. 1 cup, warm, on an empty stomach every morning. Let me pause for a moment because this is the question my folks ask me most often. You talk about the internal terrain, Mama Aisha. What do you actually use for that? The answer I have landed on is BoochBod. It is a kombucha gummy, not a pill, which matters to most of us over 60 who are not looking to add another capsule to the morning. It brings together prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics in one formula, including 2 strains I want you to know about: lactospore and postbiotics LM1004. It also carries dandelion root, the same herb the old herbalists of the Fuda Jalan gathered for cleansing the belly. Over 30,000 people are already using it. The link is in the description below. And as always, speak to your doctor before starting any supplement, especially if you are managing any ongoing condition. Now here is the full protocol, and I want you to write this down. You will need raw, unfiltered honey, warm water, a clean, soft cloth, and if you have it, a small pinch of ground turmeric. Begin every session with a warm compress. Dampen the cloth in warm water and hold it gently over the nose, chin, and forehead for 4 to 5 minutes. This softens the skin and prepares the pore to receive the honey. Do not skip this step. The honey works on skin that has been readied. Warm a half teaspoon of raw honey between your fingers for 15 seconds. If you are using turmeric, blend a small pinch into the honey before warming. Apply in a thin layer over the blackhead areas and leave it for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, rinse with cool water. The cool rinse matters because it helps the pore contract back down after everything has been loosened and cleared. Do this 3 times in your first week. After week 1, twice a week is enough to hold the results. By the end of week 2, expect pores that feel less congested and skin that feels more even. By week 4, many of my neighbors report that blackheads have visibly reduced. By the end of 6 weeks, the texture around the nose and chin often looks meaningfully clearer, and the pores appear refined. One of my neighbors, Ruth, 66 years old, a retired nurse from Savannah, Georgia, had dealt with returning blackheads on her nose and chin for close to 8 years. She had tried every strip brand she could find and paid for 2 professional extractions. What had been overlooked was that her skin was simultaneously dehydrated and overproducing oil, a disrupted barrier compensating for the wrong things. We began the raw honey protocol alongside the morning green tea habit. By week 6, Ruth told me, Mama Aisha, my pores look the way they did when my daughter was born. Her blackhead pattern had reduced by roughly 65% at that point, and the texture around her nose had improved in a way she said felt lasting. A word of care: if you have a known sensitivity to bee products, speak with your doctor before applying honey to the skin. The second supporting habit is removing refined sugar from your first meal. An insulin spike in the morning sends a hormonal signal telling the sebaceous glands to produce more oil. The Low Country root workers called this sweet blood making angry skin. A morning meal built on protein and healthy fat keeps that signal quiet. The third is a chamomile steam on the 2 mornings each week when you are not doing the honey protocol. A bowl of very hot water, a small handful of dried chamomile flowers, your face held over it with a towel covering your head for 5 minutes. Chamomile carries natural anti-inflammatory compounds that soothe the pore environment. This comes from your kitchen. It costs almost nothing. After more than 40 years of watching what holds and what fades, here are 3 things I want to add. Tip 1: consistency over intensity. Doing the honey protocol twice a week for 3 months will do more than doing it every day for 2 weeks and then stopping. Skin rewards patience, not pressure. Tip 2: temperature is not optional. Honey applied to cold, dry skin does not activate the same way. The warm compress before the honey is the step that makes everything else work. Tip 3: drink a full glass of plain water before your morning green tea. Your body has been working through the night. Give it space to clear before you add anything new. 3 mistakes I see most often. Mistake 1: using store honey instead of raw honey. Processed honey has been heated, which destroys the glucose oxidase enzyme doing the work here. If it pours like water and is completely clear, it has been processed. Raw honey is thicker, often crystallized, sometimes cloudy. Mistake 2: skipping the cool water rinse. The pore that was softened and open needs to be closed again. Without the cool rinse, you leave it unguarded. Mistake 3: stopping after 1 week. Skin cells turn over on a roughly 4-week cycle. You will not see the full result of this protocol until you have given it at least 6 weeks. My children, I want to say something before we close. This is about your mornings. It is about looking in the mirror and feeling settled in your own face. It is about knowing how to care for your body without needing a new product handed to you every season. You are in your 60s, your 70s, maybe your 80s, and the body that has carried you this whole way still wants to respond. It is never too late to give it what it has been asking for. I have watched skin respond at 72. I have watched it respond at 78. The body wants to heal. Your job is simply to give it the right conditions. You have always had the ability to do that. Let me pull this together. Number 1, blackheads return because topical solutions address the result and not the internal conditions driving excess sebum and slowed cell turnover. Number 2, raw honey's glucose oxidase enzyme supports gentle clearing of clogged pores without stripping the skin's protective barrier. Number 3, the full protocol: warm compress followed by honey, followed by cool rinse. Done 3 times in week 1 and twice a week after, works with the skin's natural renewal cycle. Number 4, the gut terrain, supported by all 3 parts working together, determines how well any topical practice can hold. Number 5, the 3 supporting habits: morning green tea, removing the morning sugar spike, and chamomile steam, address the internal conditions at the source. Subscribe if this served you today, and share it with someone you love, a sister, a spouse, an oldest friend who has been dealing with this same problem. Leave me a comment and tell me which practice you are starting first, or which part surprised you most. I read every single comment on this channel. The BoochBod link I mentioned earlier is sitting in the description whenever you are ready. This is Mama Aisha. I will see you in the next one, my people.